Today I'm going to be using a giant real leaf to help me create a gorgeous autumn piece. We are going to be using some super fun techniques that are simple, but you get some awesome results. Let me show you how to do it. Don't forget that this piece and many others are for sale on my website. Order them soon if you would like them to arrive before Christmas. I was going to my gym and on the way there are some big trees and I just couldn't resist picking some leaves. I put this one under my carpet to dry. I forgot it for some time, but now I came across it and I thought this is stunning, so let's do something simple with the leaf. I was hoping it's going to fit this canvas, but I'll have to put it sideways or maybe trim it a tiny bit. Wow, it's big, isn't it? Now I'm thinking what to do with it, how to approach it, and I have an idea. So if I put it under my mat, can I see? Yeah, I can see the lines. That means I'll try to recreate the lines on top of the mat. That should give me a whole nice golden leaf. I am going to put it on something that I can turn because I always like turning and getting close. I don't want to hold my hand this way. Perfect. I can maneuver. Where shall I start? Make it a bit thicker here. When it's wet, you can come back and fix any section you want. There's lots of those little bits, little pointy bits. I hope I can manage. They do look good. I must say, I love making something new, something I haven't tried, because that makes me really excited. I must say that since I had this idea about the silicone mat, it really became so much more fun for me. I still occasionally do it directly on the canvas, but this is really, really pleasant. I am wondering whether to make these a little bit shorter because they were almost touching the edges of the canvas, weren't they? Or was it this one? Perhaps these ones. I think I'll shorten both of them on both sides. All right, I will not bore you with me going all around. I'll be back when I have to do the lines. Finishing the outer rim, stopping a few minutes to fix something. I am not going to do the stem because I remember I wanted it at an angle, so let's leave it for now. I am going to do all those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 main lines towards the edge of the leaf. Yay! I managed to do it in one go. Well done to me. Okay. I don't want it so perfect, so I'm kind of wiggling it a bit. It's fine if it's thicker in some places. Oh, okay. Well, those two were actually straight. These are a bit more wonky. I would like to take a moment to shout out my amazing patrons. Thank you so much, guys. Every week I make an extended version of my tutorials, and recently they've been twice as long as the ones on YouTube. So if you'd like to support the channel, consider joining my community on there. And if that's not your cup of tea, but you really like my art, you can actually own it by heading over to my website, abcreativeofficial.com. And now I'll be making those smaller ones. These are the major partition, structural, well, let's call them bones. I don't know what. I'm not going to do the tiny ones, but I'm definitely going to do every one of those bigger ones between the sections. I find it so interesting that the veins on the leaf are not symmetrical at all. Each side is very different, and now these sections are joined even differently to those. I really need to see it better, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the leaf out and I'm going to fill those gaps, looking very close at the veins. I'll analyze those sections because they kind of go very differently. That's interesting. The leaf is going to be painted underneath. I think I'll do a pour. I'm not going to cover the whole thing with millions of little lines because I do want to see some color as well. Trying to make them thin, and I don't mind them being kind of uneven. I want them different to the other lines. Now my absolute favorite part, peeling it off. If I made the leaf a bit more chunky, I just picked it up with one finger. But I was trying my best to make it a bit more delicate. And I was really trying to join all those bits so it stays intact. I didn't make the stem because I still don't know how I want it to look. So what I'm planning underneath, I'm planning, well, obviously some autumn colors, but I'm not sure about the background. So, look at this. You could make quite a few interesting things out of it. Autumn colors, I do have some old skin, so I'm going to have a look. I think that will look nice. I was first thinking of making sails, but I don't think so. Why? Because all those partitions would be actually going across the sails, and I don't think that's such a good idea. By the way, this canvas is 30 by 30. It's very nice taut premium canvas. I'm going to show you the consistency of the paints. They're all autumn colors. Maybe this one will be the best. I've just mixed it, so it's a bit frothy. It runs really nicely, you can see, uninterrupted, with a very little build-up. Inside we've got one part of paint to 2 parts of Floetrol. I ran out of my glue, some people asking, and then I sprayed some water in. The important thing is that all my autumn colors are the same consistency. So we've got cadmium yellow, cadmium red, crimson red, my own mix of burnt amber and a little bit of white, cadmium orange and tinted brown where I added some white. I'll show you something because it's also inspired by autumn leaves, and there were quite a few of you who were interested in my other work. So that's a leaf I made out of clay. And speaking of the same colors, that's something else. I absolutely love 3D work. Now, you know, when I'm using these, it's going to be messy. And I am going to use my little baby hairdryer. My leaf is going to be in the middle, so I am going to spread some paint around it. And I'll probably use green because I've got the most of it, because that's what I've got the most. So I'm going to spread around first, so then the paint will glide over easily. I will paint the edges later on, so it doesn't really matter what color. Not sure whether I wanted white or black at the moment. That's an interesting green. It's actually Artesa's pale green. They call it pale, but I always laugh. It's nothing to do with pale. I mix some brown into it. Well, I do like mixing my own colors because then you always get something different, something completely different. Now let's start layering the colors. Not too much brown. Bit of orange and yellow and some red. This is probably the first situation when I don't have to worry about getting brown. When you're using red with green, which are complementary colors, that means they are opposite on the color wheel, you risk getting some brown muddy colors. However, this time I welcome more brown. If it shows up, that's fine. You probably noticed that I'm layering the paints in like 2 directions on both sides. That's the way I want to blow using the hairdryer. To be honest, I am not too keen on cells, but if they happen, well, so be it. We also have gold, of course. A bit of gold here and there. Well, this is my little hairdryer. That's probably fine. Oh gosh, it's really selling. Let's torch some air bubbles. Oh well, I did not expect so many sails. But it's looking rather pretty, and this part will not be seen. I'm going to spread a bit more because we've got a little lump here. I know you might be surprised by what I'm going to do now, because it does look quite pretty, but I need to spread the edges a bit, because what I'm after is some flat surface. I'm going to spread it just like this. I know it looks a bit like I'm destroying something here, but it's going to be fine. I'm going to do it all around the edges. Using a straw is another great way to spread your paint over the edges. You get some really nice wispy effect. I want to show you something. So this is the golden glue stick. I thought it's not very golden, so I started, look, using a pen on this. And what a difference. So now, I can't really say this is golden. This looks like a beige brown. And it's so easy to do it when it's not on the canvas. I don't get canvas messy, so I'm basically putting it here and going over the lines. I will decide on a position now. So, I still don't have the stem, but it's all right. Once I'm happy, I'm going to glue my leaf. I'm going to mark top of each leaf so then I know where to position it back. I quite like it actually on the multicolored background, to be honest. I was going to paint the background black, then I was going to paint the background white. And at the moment, I'm not sure. I wish you could tell me what you would like to see. And the midsection looks dull on the other side, even though there are some spots of metallic paint. It's so brown. It'll be boring like this. The easiest way to approach this would be maybe glue in spray, squeezing some diamond glue in here, and I'll use a brush and go over. I usually wait a minute or two till the glue becomes tacky, so that will give me ample time to complete the leaf. Every section, I need to squeeze more. I did it once with my silver tree. If you haven't watched that one, it was fun. It was the first time I came up with this. Ready? Very delicate. I think that's all right. Since I haven't made the stem, I've decided to do it separately and I'm going to stick it on. I could have done it directly on the canvas, but what if I don't like the angle or something? So I've got my mat with me. Also, do I want double lines or single lines? I'm not sure. If I make it thin enough, oh, okay, that's probably too thin. Let's make one a bit thicker. That's a really nice one, but for this one blob, I think I wanted to touch the edge, or maybe not. Okay, so I need another one, covering gold with gold. As I said, my initial idea was to make the background either black or white. But at the moment, I'm thinking I quite like it like this. I don't know what your thoughts are. However, I want to add some darker shadows. If I'm not too happy with the shadows, then I can always cover the whole background. But at the moment, I'm going to create some shadows and see. Maybe that'll be a better idea. As usual, we are experimenting live. That means I haven't tried it. I haven't prepared anything. I'm just doing it for you here and changing my mind and adapting as we usually do in the creative process. You know, it's not always so smooth. I give up sometimes on one idea, then I do something else. So these are the same colors I used for the leaf. I'm trying to see what will look best for the shadow. Try to blend it in a bit. So if I just add a shadow here and the rest will be colorful, maybe that will look nice. I'm basically using a darker version of what I used here. At the moment I'm sort of a bit indecisive. Hopefully it will look nice. I wonder what you are thinking. Will that be nice? Okay, so I'll go around. I won't bore you with this part. Some deeper red here. And what color is it? This is Bordeaux red with a hint of black. If I did just everywhere one color, I don't know, I thought it would be more interesting if I kind of follow the colors that I see on the leaf. Roughly, of course. Again, a bit of green here. This leaf will really pop, will look really 3D this way. I'm going to stick the stem. Something like that. Second part. I think I'm rather happy with this. I'm going to do exactly the same as around the leaf. Using my fingers and then very dirty nails as usual. I think this is finished. It just requires now a couple of layers of varnish. I don't cover it with varnish straight away. You see the gold? I've decided to show you something. Because I was talking so much about the black background or the white background, I was so indecisive, I've decided to make something for you so you can see what my original intention was. This is not finished, but just so that you kind of know. What do you think now? As I said, it's not finished, so I was going to stick the glue onto here. But it looks good in itself. I'll just cover the edges nicely. What do you think? Which one would you prefer? Oh, by the way, I've used something completely unusual. That's the world's blackest black. I've never used it before. I got it as a present. Well, so that's that. I'll show you some close-ups. Well, there we are. Please let me know your thoughts of this piece in the comments. I love reading them all, even if I don't always have time to reply to each one. As you know, I do have another job, so I do apologize. If you want to see more of how I made this or other pieces, please head over to my Patreon, where hours of extended content await for just $2 a month. One last reminder that this piece is for sale now on my website, among others, so head over there to get your hands on it. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you all next Saturday. Bye bye!